You want the kids in your life to be happy, but what happens when their health or their weight really becomes the focus? How do you, as a parent or grandparent, navigate it physically, mentally, emotionally with them? A Triad doctor wrote this book, Your Child Is Not Their Weight, and he wrote it in order to give parents and grandparents realistic advice to help improve a child's health without compromising their self-esteem. So Wake Forest pediatrics professor and the author, Dr. Joey Skelton, is joining us. All right, so let's kind of talk about this. What do you want parents to get from this book?
I want this book to really be about parents that they can work on healthy habits without it having to be a fight, a battle, or to make their kids feel bad about that. Oftentimes when we try to change our health habits, kids think I've done something wrong, or you think I'm fat or something like that. But it's really about you can work on habits and do it in a positive way that can actually bring your family closer together.
Okay, can you give me an example of that? Just, so that we could kind of like wrap our minds around that. Because I think a lot of parents struggle with weight themselves, so they're struggling with how they talk to their kids about it.
Right, and that's actually you hit on several major points with that. One is with parents. If we are making negative comments about our body or our weight, what does that tell our kids? That can make the kids start to hate their body, and when kids hate their body, lots of problems happen with that, including risk of eating disorders. So oftentimes we want parents, even if they are trying to change their own weight, is to talk positive about their bodies instead of always talking negative. And I'm looking at myself. I complain about my back hurting all the time, but we really need to demonstrate love of our own bodies if we want children to love their bodies. Also, we oftentimes give recommendations to parents. They need to eat more fruits and vegetables. So if we start pushing more fruits and vegetables on our kids, typically that's going to have their kids actually not like it. If we have to say, you can't have dessert until you finish your broccoli, that's going to make kids hate their broccoli and become even more focused on their dessert.
All right, but at the same time, you got to keep boundaries, right, for your kids, right? You want them to eat the broccoli.
Yeah. So oftentimes it's about familiarity and offering. So we don't want our kids to be picky. We want our kids to eat a wide variety of foods, especially fruits and vegetables. And so the idea is about offering it over and over. As parents, we want to push, we want to trick, we want to do things to get them to eat healthier, but oftentimes it's about what you don't do. So not trying to talk about good and bad foods. You can talk about special treats or foods. And the examples that I give in the book are about biscuits and gravy. Well, I don't have biscuits and gravy every day, but it's a food that's very important to me and my culture and my family. And we have it periodically and we enjoy it, but it's not something that we have every day. And so I don't try to label that as a bad food, but also setting up that healthy home environment. So offering these foods, making them available without having to push them too much.
All right, let's kind of talk about diet culture and how it plays in and the diet culture trap that really we're all kind of in.
Yeah, this book, our book, that we dedicate the book to parents who were raised in sort of I call it the low fat 80s and 90s, but sort of that toxic diet culture, and were raised to feel bad about their own bodies, and they want their children to be healthy and have healthy habits, but they don't want to pass that along to them. And so that's what our book is really focused on, is those parents that want to have that healthy home environment with trying to protect their kids from this toxic diet culture that we can live in.
Yeah, everywhere. It's on one side or the other, right? A lot of times people will say they'll start spewing out all kinds of stats about obesity and kids and things of that nature. But you say no kid should ever be put on a diet. So explain that.
Absolutely. And when we say diet, we're really talking about either giving up entire food groups. Please don't mention carbs to me. Our bodies need carbs, and not trying to demonize a food, but not giving up whole food groups, not trying to count calories or give a prescribed diet plan. The more we try to rein our kids in with that, the more they'll sort of naturally sort of fight against it. And actually, we know when we're trying to prevent obesity, if you try to restrict too much or push too much on your kids, if you try to control everything they eat, that's actually going to try over the long run have your child actually gain more weight. So it's the idea about developing not only good relationships with their own bodies, but also with food, to teach your children healthy habits that are going to last a lifetime. And the best way to teach is to model those behaviors for them and set up your daily routine and schedule to sort of promote that. It's not about trying to teach your kids or tell your kids, but sort of setting up that lifestyle so they can learn from everything around them.
Well, speaking of that, we got about a minute left. Let's talk about quickly how families can prioritize their overall health. All the family, not just the kid.
Great. We make time for what's important to us. That's a perfect thing, Tanya, is that we make time for what's important. So when people ask me what's the one sort of public health campaign that you would do, I would say family meals. Eating meals together as a family is one of the best ways for your children not only learn healthy eating habits, they can learn manners. You talk, you communicate more, you talk about your day. Children who have regular meals with their family, it could be dinner, it could be breakfast, it could be weekend brunch. The more meals we have together as a family, the more likely our kids are to eat a well-balanced diet, to do better in school, and communicate more. So planning ahead, prioritizing that meal. And families are busy nowadays, so it might be a weekend meal, it might be a breakfast, but prioritizing him the family meals. We have a lot in our book about meal planning, how to plan out scheduling time to go grocery shopping. That's one thing we don't do enough. And so the idea of structuring your week to prioritize these times together as a family.
All right. It's called Your Child Is Not Their Weight. You can find it on Amazon. If you want to find this interview, send it to somebody who maybe wants to hear this a second time. This is going to be in the Who Wants to Know section of our website. Dr. Joey Skelton, thank you much.